Okay, so good evening, guys. So we would be continuing with our Jenkins session. So today morning we had just covered the introductory part on Jenkins, right? So we just discussed briefly on what is continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment, right? And we just discussed between the difference between these three terminologies, what we use in basically when you're coming up with the CI/CD pipeline, right? We come across with all these terminologies actually, right? So that's what. Now, what would be we discussing now? So this we can say it as a Jenkins day two session. Okay. So we'll continue with the same continuous integration, which we call the CI, and continuous delivery actually, deployment delivery. See, okay. So to make you better understand, right? Uh, to make you understand better in a better way what is continuous integration is all about actually, right? You see in any software industry, right? Usually in any software industry, right? Basically what happened, right? The company always develops some kind of a projects actually, right? So uh, like for example, if there is a company by the ADP company, right? There's a company by the name ADP. You know very well that always this ADP company, right? They always develop the payroll applications, right? Similarly, like Flipkarts, they develop the e-commerce application. So they can use any language to develop it, but basically these are the main applications which they develop it. Guys, you can unmute it. Whoever has joined, please unmute yourself. Yeah. Not sorry, unmute, mute yourself actually. Yes. Guys, you can even off your video also. You can off your videos, plus you can mute yourself. Please. Thank you. Thank you all. Yeah. Now you take any company, guys. So they develop the project, right? And each and every project or each and every software project, basically it has different kinds of layers actually, right? It has a different kinds of layers. Like for example, basically there are three layers actually. If you to be very specific, there are three layers. So one is nothing but this is nothing but a database layer. This is nothing but database layer or just a database, right? And this is nothing but your application layer. So each and every project or each and every application software, it has these three layers actually. Say application layer, or even we call it as a business logic layer, business logic layer, right? As well as we have something known as a front end. Actually, we have something known as a front end actually, front end layer, right? So each and every projects which is developed by the industries, right, which is developed by the software companies, right, it has minimum these three layers actually: front end layer, application layer, and database layer, right? So this database layer as well as application layer, we can even call it as a backend layer, or we can even call it as a backend also. We can even call it as a backend. Okay. So okay, fine. So but I'm not mentioning anything here over here. So these two layer together we can call it as a backend also. Now, whenever any project comes, whenever a customer comes and he says that, oh, I need a payroll application, or I need some kind of e-commerce applications for my requirement. So what happened, right? They will understand the client's requirements. So and then what happened, right? They will say that, okay, fine, low. So we will take around 6 months of time to deliver this project to the end client, right? And you could see that earlier, like if I want to really talk about this earlier, like around in the early 2000, right, people used to take the companies to take a lot of time to develop these applications. So 6 months is a very huge time, right? A very big time, but still, yeah, they used to take this 6 months of time just to develop any kind of a payroll applications or e-commerce. They used to take a lot of time. So when they take 6 months of time, They develop all these applications actually, like all this front end, back end, or nothing but the application layer business as well as the database, right? And to implement all this, guys, to implement all this actually, basically, right, you need to hire some engineers, right? So you need to hire engineers who can actually develop the front end of the applications. So that engineer, he would know about how to develop the front end by using any of the languages. Like for example, he will use something like HTML. He will be good at HTML or CSS or JavaScript, right? So nowadays, like people are using React, right? Angular or AngularJS, or else, right? For example, you want to develop any kind of a Android application, you use Kotlin, or you can even use a Shift UI if you are developing a app for your uh, Apple iOS, right? So these are some of the tools or languages which we use for developing the front end, and it is developed by some kind of a developer. Basically, all these three layers, it has been divided across different engineers who are expertise into that area, right? So, for example, suppose these are the three layers, right? What you will do, guys, you will try to uh, create, or you will try to create one team actually. This is one team, and this team we call it as a team A. So they are responsible for building this front end. Similarly, what happened, right? You have something as a team B. So they are responsible for building your application layer or business layer, business logic layer. And there is one more team C, correct? They are responsible for developing any kind of a database, right? So that's all. So this we call it as a team A, and this is called the team B, and this is called the team C, right? And right, and what happened, right, for developing the application layer or the applications, like you can use any language. So either you can use a Java language, or you can use a C hash, or you can use C++, you can use Python, you can use Node.js. The list is huge, guys, actually. Or else you can use PHP, right? What else? Other things we have. Or else you can even use a Ruby on Rails. See, you can choose any language to develop it actually, right? So the list is huge, guys, actually. If we start discussing, it's a huge list actually. Similarly, what happens, the whole database, right, it is implemented, like it is written through your SQL language, right? SQL, or else you call it the PLSQL, or else. So basically you implement all kind of a storage procedure, right, to develop all such things, database, right? Right. So we have all set of different teams who are actually working on the project. And consider that we have given a time frame of 6 months of time duration to develop the project, right? Now what you will do, so fine, so all these different teams, they have come up with a project, they have developed it actually, and within a time frame of something like 5 months, they have developed it actually, okay? Now what you'll do at the end of the, after the after the fifth month, the last month, that is the from the fifth month onwards, right? After the fifth month, or after the fifth month, after the fifth month, what you will do, what you will do you will start integrating all these three components, right? You'll be start integrating all these three components, right? So what you say, before releasing, so you have committed to a customer that, oh, okay, after 6 months I will release it, right? Or within 6 months I release it. So what you're doing, you have took the time of 5 months to develop the whole code and everything, fine. Now after 5 months, the last month which is remaining, you'll start integrating it actually. So guys, do you think that uh, the integration will go safely or without any issues or without any problems? No, right? So you will face a lot of problem actually. So integration will face a lot of problems, correct? Right? And you know, like and fixing all those issues at the nth moment, right? It is very difficult, right? It's very difficult, and what happened, right? You will not be able to give quality deliverables to the client at the end actually. Then what usually all the engineers will do, they'll start be doing some kind of a workaround they'll be doing it, just to make sure that this product should be finally released to a customer. Workaround, or in Hindi we call it the jugaad, right? In Hindi we call it the jugaad. So some kind of workaround, something the engineers will do, so that okay, finally I need to somehow integrate it and I need to deliver to our end customer, right? But what happened, right? You are missing a kind of a quality over there, so you will not be able to deliver a very quality product to the end customer. So this is not the right way. This was happening earlier in 2000s actually. So in the very early beginning, like almost like 20, 22 years back, right? In early 2000, right? Early 2000, this integration is to happen actually, and this we call it as a big bang integration. And the big bang integration, I mean, it is some industries still use it, but mostly most of the industries they're gone out of from this big bang industry integration. They're not really using it, but this is what earlier they used to do actually, right? And as I said, right, at the very nth one, they try to make it work actually. They try to make it work. Somehow they try to make it work. And because for one release, because for releasing to the end customer, right, they used to make it work actually, right? But they were somewhere they were missing the quality, as I said, right? So this is not the correct way actually. So that's the reason what happened, right? A lot of people, right, in the industry, right, they came up with their own theory of how we can improvise the like continuous integration, right? And how we can make sure that the continuation happens, successfully without any issues, right? At the very beginning stage, a lot of people, they came up with their own theory and all, right? But there was one person by name Grady Booch actually. Okay, he had proposed some uh, he had proposed some proposal for the continuous integration. And what are those actually? So let me write. So what is it? Yeah, Big Bang integration. I think I've told Big Bang integration were done or adopted by the industry in early 2000s, right? Right. So there was a person by name Grady Booth. Actually, if I think some of you might have heard it, he's basically he has written a lot of books actually, basically on design of. He has written a lot of books, guys. Some of you might have read in your college days or in your engineering days, design of what is it? I even have forgotten. Design of UML, right, and all kind of the design UML algorithms. A lot of books he has written, guys. Actually, this guy actually. So Grady Booth was a guy actually. He has proposed a continuous integration actually. Continuous integration. So what were the proposals actually? Point number one. What was his proposal? He says that maintain a single code repository for a project. So maintain a single code repository for the project. See, basically, what happened, right? These are the three different components, correct, right? All these three components are maintained by three different teams or three different engineers, right? And they will try to keep the source code in their own location, right? In their own locations. At the end, what happened, right? You take up all those codes from the different location, keep it in one location, and start integrating. So what Grady Booth says that don't do that. Maintain always a single code repository, so that in a single code repository for the project, all these three teams, right? Let it be database team or application developer team or the front end, they start uploading the code or they start submitting the code in that specific project in a single code repository. That is what he said actually. So that is one thing. Okay. Second point. So integrate your application every time. Every time means every time or frequently, you can say. Frequently, whenever the developer commits the code, whenever the developer commits the code actually. So what you it means that what he's trying to say that actually that Whenever developer commits a code, it means that if all these developers, any of the developers, if the developer is committing a code to a source code repository, so start doing an integration. So what he says that what this fellow Grady Booth say that actually start integrating all these components from the day one itself. Day one itself start integrating all the components. So all the components means the front end, the application, and the database, everything. Even though at the very initial stage, right, people might be developing. Suppose a project proposal has come, maybe a team engineer, he could be start writing a very initial basic code of the front end, right? Similarly, the developer might be writing, he might choose some language like Java, .NET or C hash. He could start writing it, but he could come up with some piece of code at the very initial stage itself. Or even the database, he might have written some kind of a storage procedure. Maybe they might have not developed, or they might have not developed the full database. They not created it, but still what happened, right? They would have come up with a design. They could have just laid off some kind of a coding. So at the very initial stage itself, you start integrating. So it is very sure that on the day one onward, the day one onwards, integration will fail. Actually, we know that. We know very well that this will fail actually. But we should know at the day one onwards that yeah, things are getting failed. It is not like that after 180 days of my code development, finally I'm integrating, and I'm saying that oh, integration is having an issue, right? Why at the end you are just thinking about that integration will fail, or why you have to land up with at the end date itself. Just face the problem or landed with the failure on the day one onwards itself, right? So whenever the developers, or right, the front end developers or the back end developer, when they're working, they know that yeah, the integration is getting failed from the day one onwards. Oh, it means that I need to fix it always. So that's what. So it is a completely new theory, right? Because like Big Bang theory, what it says that you need to integrate at the end of the project, right? But here, what happens? The day one onwards, you start integrating. No doubt, it will fail, but yeah, just try to integrate it so that you will come across with a lot of failures, and you will try to fix that failures. That's what it says. So instead of integrating after 180 days, integrate on the day one onwards. That's what he says. So what the point it says, integrate your application every time frequently. It could be like, suppose it's not like every time you should integrate. You could integrate within 2 hours. Suppose today you have developers have pushed the code in 2 hours. Yeah, start integrating after 2 hours, or after, like, you might developer might commit 4 or 5 builds on the say on one day. Yeah, integrate 4 or 5 times and test it whether integration is working or not. So from the day one onwards, you should start working on integrating. So that's what he says. Who says? The Grady Booth section. What is the third point? Third point is say that ensure you have automated the unit test cases, such as smoke test, or what you can say, uh, sanities actually. So what he says that once the code is built, here you could see that once the code is built, once the code is build, you'll get a software package, right? After getting a software package, you will actually be running a lot of unit test cases, right? The sanity test cases. So it will just to check the basic functionality of the software package, right? So at the very initial stage only, you are trying to run a lot of test cases, and to make sure that things are working or not actually. So that's what he said, that ensure that you have a automated test cases, such as a smoke test. So what is a smoke test, guys? Smoke test is something like, it is a very basic test, we say, just for testing the functionality of the application. Like for example, you want to check the functionality of the Facebook. So what you do, you launch the facebook.com website, right? Oh, it will open, fine. And then what happened, you give a username and password, you will authenticate inside the Facebook. And finally, what you'll do, that you say that you have your picture, you want to just upload your picture, right, in the Facebook, right? So if the authentication, login, and uploading of the picture is happening, you say that oh, your Facebook is working fine. It means that the application Facebook is working fine. So basically, what happened? Smoke test are nothing but a very basic functional test. It's just a basic. It's not a full-fledged testing. It's just a basic testing. Later, you'll be doing many other testing, right? You will be doing you'll be doing a performance testing. You'll be doing it system testing, or stress testing, or operational testing. There are many testing techniques are there which you'll adapt later. But initially, you have to run some kind of a smoke testing, right? That we even call it as a white box testing, right? So we have to run some kind of a test cases. So when it happens, when you start in building the code, when you start the build the codes, You get the packages, and finally you run the test cases. This is what he says, right? And for the fourth point, what he says that automate the build, automate the build. How I can say automate the build and execute the tests actually. Automate the build. So you need to follow some kind of automation so that the continuous build happens actually, and also execute the test cases actually. Showcase the test results. Showcase the test results to the developers. So whether the test case is passing or whether the test case is failing, you need to showcase every time to the developer so that he will understand actually where we are standing actually, right? So that's what he says. And what is the other next point, guys? He says that actually, like you need to also, what I can say, check the code quality. So you know that you need to always do a code quality checking, right? So suppose like if any developer writes a code actually, so what you do, you will try to give, you cannot actually review your code, right? There has to be some other developer who has to review the code, right? Suppose you have written some 3 lines of code and you're giving the code to me and they say that Rajesh, you review the code, right? So I'm also a human being, right? I miss some points, right? I might miss, right, certain things, right? Suppose if you have some kind of a tool actually which can do a code check quality, so that is very good, right? The tool or any other software, it never misses, right? The human can do the mistake, but the tool or the software doesn't do the mistake. So always you should make sure that you should have some kind of a quality checks actually. So it means that you need to have some kind of a tool which does the code quality checking actually. Like in our case, right? We have a Sonar Cube, right? I think in the morning we missed something over here. We could have explained about the Sonar Cube and as well as a Nexus Artifactory. But anyhow, that is fine. Okay, we have explained about major tools, but those are also important tools actually, right? Nexus Artifactory or JFrog Artifactory or and Sonar Cube actually, right? So so these are the things, guys, which he says actually that this is what you need to follow whenever you are doing a continuous integration, right? And this is the best practice what we use in the industry nowadays actually. Correct. There are many other people are there who have given a lot of theory and a lot of paperwork they have submitted on the continuous integration. But Grady Booch is a guy actually whom like they followed most actually, right? And also like I've forgotten that person's name, Andy Flower or somebody, some name actually I don't remember as of now. He's Andy Flower, not Andy Flower. He's a CEO of ThoughtWorks actually. CEO of ThoughtWorks. Uh, ex-CEO, even I don't know, I don't remember his name actually. So who started this ThoughtWorks? Actually, there's a person by name Martin Flower actually. Yeah, this is a guy actually. He was also a guy actually who had given a lot of paperwork and a lot of he has come up with a lot of theory on the continuous integration and continuous delivery or deployment actually. So a lot of people they practice his theory also, whatever he has proposed actually. So this is also one of the guy actually who was. There are many people are there guys who have come up with a lot of paperwork and a lot of theories they have come up actually, right? Now, so so a lot of industries, a lot of organization you can say have the CI tool in place actually, right? The continuation tool in place, right? So we need a tool which can detect when the code is committed. The code is committed to the repository. Whenever the code is committed to repository, like any repository means you can just say git repository, right? So we need a tool which can detect the code when which can detect the code, detect when the code is committed to the repository, and execute the test cases and execute the test cases and notify the result actually. So that's the reason there are a lot of tools available. What are those tools, guys? Actually, those tools are I'll start with something Azure DevOps actually. So Azure DevOps, which was actually this is basically from the Microsoft actually. So Microsoft companies, right? Azure DevOps, and that Azure DevOps also it is used as a continuous integration and continuous deployment tool actually, right? It's a very famous tool, and it was formally the tool name was actually, if you remember, somebody knows that VSTS actually, Visual Studio Teams Service actually. This was the name earlier. Now they rebranded it as a Azure DevOps actually. Before that, the name was actually TFS. Teams Foundation Services. That is what the name, and then later they changed to VSS, and now it has been rebranded as an Azure DevOps. So always, guys, it is good that if you learn the Azure DevOps, like it is very good because nowadays in the company, right, in the industries, some more they're asking a lot on Azure DevOps these days, right? So what are the other tools we have? We have something as a Bamboo tool, which is not that much really used, but yeah, okay, this is also one of the CI/CD tool or CI/CD tools actually, and basically this is from the Atlassian company, Bamboo. BAM actually, Bamboo. Okay. And now what else? We have something with the GitLab. You might have known, might have come across with the name GitLab. And also there is something like GitHub Actions. So these days, even in industry, they're asking about the GitHub Actions also. What else we have? We have many other tools. These are the popular tools, guys. Jenkins is a very popular tool, right? We have something like Team City. You might have come across with this tool, Team City, as well as you might have come across with the Travis CI or else Circle CI, Circle CI. So guys, these are all the integration, and this is nothing. These are all the CI/CD tools actually, which are most popular tools which are used in the industry, right? So and all these are open source actually, right? And you could see that actually that people in the industry they are using mostly on Jenkins, and now people have started working on more on. They are expecting a candidate to know more on GitHub Action also, right? So as part of our this course, guys, actually, what I'm planning as part of this course, so I'll be covering Jenkins. I'm very much happy to even update and cover on GitHub Actions. Uh, what else? Azure DevOps as well. GitLab actually. This is what I'm very much willing to cover all these topics actually. So Jenkins will take huge time actually. I will need around 20 hours of time to cover the complete Jenkins. Of course, more than that we can cover. GitHub Actions like 8 to 10 hours. Azure DevOps again 10 hours. 10 hours you need. And GitLab you can finish in around something like 8 hours. See, the conceptual is same, guys. Actually, if you are working in any one tool perfectly, you know Jenkins very well. Understanding other tools will be very easy. It just like it just the way the tool works out. You need to just understand. That's all. Otherwise, conceptually at the base level, everything is same itself, right? Because all these tools are nothing but it's a CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment tool, right? Delivery tool, right? So that's what we call. We have to always learn one tool very perfectly first, and then we can get into learning other tools actually. So this is what, guys, we'll see, guys, how things goes because sometimes we promise us a lot, but we couldn't deliver it, right? It happens actually, but I'm very much willing to cover all these things actually. To be very specific, even I don't know about GitHub Actions. Only few things I've read. DevOps, uh, Azure DevOps, right? I've been updating now, and the GitLab very long back, like 3 months back, I had updated on all the things on GitLab. So it will be very good after Jenkins. Maybe I will cover the GitLab because right now I have already updated on that actually, so I can deliver it very fastly to all of you. So whereas GitHub Actions and Azure, after I complete this, then I will be covering this stuff actually. So maybe this course or this the whole course might go around 3 months actually. It will go around 3 months or more than 3 months. Okay. So the morning we saw, right, actually we understood, right, what is the continuous delivery, continuous integration, and continuous deployment, right? This terminologies we already covered it morning in the morning itself, right? Okay, fine. Now, so now, guys, so we have to learn the Jenkins now. That's what. We have to learn the Jenkins. So we'll be starting our journey with the Jenkins actually. So before we start the Jenkins actually, before we start the Jenkins, okay, I want to ask a very basic question for you. Suppose, for example, if you guys are working on Windows, suppose you have some program, or else suppose you have something known as a test.batch file. How you are going to run this batch file periodically? It means that every 1 hour I want to run this batch file, right? Or else, like for example, if you have a knowledge on Linux, if you have a knowledge on Linux, and assume that there is something, the test.sh script is there actually. This is the shell script. So what I want is, what is my requirement? I want to run this files, above file once in every hour. So this is what my requirement is. So what should I do? Can anyone tell me? Suppose, for example, if some of you are good in Linux, actually, you would have already got an answer. You would have already made out the answer. Okay, I have something a test.sh file. So Rajesh, you are saying that every 1 hour I want to run it. Okay, can I set up a cron job? Yeah, you can set a cron job for running every 1 hour, right? So you are correct, guys. So what about the in Windows? Any answers, guys? Suppose somebody are good in Windows, right? You might have come up, you might have some batch file and you need to periodically run that. What is it you use?
Yeah, scheduling the task.
Yeah, scheduling the task. Yeah, that is a task scheduler, correct?
Yes.
Task scheduler, you use it actually. Good. Task scheduler, use it. So how do you see the task scheduler? See, if you go to the My Computer, right, and if you do a right click on it, you could see that there's a manage here. Click on this manage. So you could see there's a task scheduler here, correct? Task scheduler here, right? Task scheduler here. Now, suppose I want to create a job. So I'll right click on it and I'll say create a basic task, right? So it say that what is the job I need to run always or once in every hour, like run Google Chrome actually, something. So this is the task I need to run always. So it'll say next. So daily I'm running, fine, next. Okay, every day I'm running. So now it is 5:36. So I will make it as a 5:37, 5:37, right? Next, start the program. Next, already 5:37 is back, so I'll make it as a 5:38. Okay, so next, start the program. Next, so you need to browse it. You need to tell right where exactly the executable is. Browse it. You know that the cron, the Google ex is there in your C drive program file 686. You have something as a Google. Under that you have a Chrome. Under that application you have see this is a chrome.exe. Click on this and say open, and then say next, and just say finish. So guys, you have set the cron job now, right? Set the cron job now. See here where you have set it. See, run a Google Chrome. See it. This job you have set. This is schedule job you have set it, right? Now you could see that exactly at 5:38, guys. What happened, right? It will launch a Chrome actually. It will launch a Chrome browser. Similarly, the same stuff, guys, you can do it in Linux with the help of a cron job actually. Okay, cron job actually, right? So why I'm saying that, because you have something as a cron job, or you have something like a scheduler where you can like you can periodically run some kind of a task. You can schedule a task where it can be keep running, right? So that we call the scheduler actually. So exactly, guys, your Jenkins exactly, or any CI/CD tool exactly, it works like a cron job, or it exactly works like a scheduler. Any tool it might be, whatever tool we are talking about here, Azure DevOps, Bamboo, GitLab, this all these tools, right? The basic functionality of this tool is that, guys, it always acts like a scheduler. Whenever whenever you propose any job, right? The Jenkins or any kind of a CI/CD tool knows that how exactly it has to execute the job, in which way it has to execute the job. So it acts like a scheduler. See here, guys, already see a new browser has been launched here, correct? So that's how like you have created a scheduler job. So let me do one thing. Let me delete this. I don't want this job now. Okay. So I want to delete this. I just deleted this. Right. So now guys, that's what I said that. So what I'm trying to that all these CI or CD tools acts as a scheduler, acts like a scheduler, job scheduler or task scheduler actually. Even Jenkins is also a task scheduler only, right? So what I would say actually that basically guys, yeah, so this is on steroids, right? Suppose somebody want to take steroids, right? Right? To get more energy, so they take a steroid, right? So this is nothing but the steroid, right? So what you say that actually what I'm trying to tell here that you take any CI/CD, any CI/CD tool, let it be Jenkins or let it be any other tool, Travel CI, Circle CI, or as Azure DevOps, right? Actually, all or any CI/CD tool system is conceptually it is nothing but it is a cron on steroids actually, cron on steroids. So it means that you can actually schedule a job actually. You'll be scheduling a job. It means that it will periodically schedule any kind of a job what you give to this CI/CD tool with for the CI/CD tool or nothing but the Jenkins or any of the tools, right? So what exactly the Jenkins has basically guys, the Jenkins has something like a customized UI actually. That's what customized UI for your CI/CD pipelining, right? So customize UI for the CI/CD kind of a activities. That's the reason you choose for, because like at the end you need to have some kind of a user friendly environment where you can go and set up a job. So that's the reason what happened, right? At the front end you need some kind of a UI. So Jenkins provides that UI to make it more helpful or to make the life more easy. There is something known as a Jenkins plugin. We will come across with that later. So Jenkins plugins will also act as a very vital role because it will still make more easier for the end user to create the jobs actually. So that's the reason what happened, right? At the end, what I'm trying to tell here, at the end, everything is not but schedule itself, guys, actually. Right? Everything is a scheduler, right? Okay, now. So what we'll be learning, so we'll start our journey with the Jenkins, right? So basically what we have to do, guys, we need to know a little bit about the journey of or how exactly who was the guy who actually who designed this Jenkins or what is the history behind the Jenkins. So you know very well that there was a company by the name Sun Microsystem. Sun Microsystem. So in the Sun Microsystem, there was one person by name I don't know how to spell it. Koshuki. Let me say Koshuki Kawakuchi. So this is a guy, guys. This is a person actually who had designed this Jenkins tool actually. So Jenkins tool, but earlier the name was not Jenkins, it was Hudson actually. The tool was Hudson actually. So this person, let me open this. Let me see if his image is available. Kohsu Kaushuki Kawakuchi. Is it correct, guys? I'm the way I'm pronouncing Kohsuki Kawakuchi. He's a guy actually. So this fellow is a guy who was working in Sun Microsystem company. Okay, he was working as a part of Sun Microsystem. He came up with this Hudson tool. So which is nothing but the CI/CD tool actually, right? And he made it as an open source actually, so that anybody can use this Hudson tool in their work actually. Later, what happened? You know, the Sun Microsystem was acquired by Oracle company, and after the acquisition by the Oracle company, what Oracle was doing, right? They whatever the projects or software projects which are running, which are going under Sun Microsystem, right? They are trying to understand which can be made as a closed source. It means that they have to earn the money or the revenue from that. So they came up with this Hudson and they said that instead of making it as open source, let us make it as a closed source. It means that it should be a proprietary software. We need to make the money from that Hudson tool. But somehow this fellow was not agreeing to make it as a closed source. So what this person did, right? He didn't agree with that proposal, and this person left the Oracle company. And then, like what happened, that he took a clone of this whole code. He took the whole clone means he took the clone of the Hudson code, whatever he designed, and he renamed a new project which he called the Jenkins project, and he made it as an open source. And the same person, what happened, right? He started his own company which he calls a CloudBees actually. Along with his friend, he started his own company in the CloudBees actually, right? So CloudBees is a company. So still today, you know that open Jenkins is an open source. You need not to pay any money for the licensing cost. Nothing. It doesn't require any kind of a licensing cost. We can freely install the Jenkins, and Jenkins is a platform independent. Jenkins is a platform independent. It means that you can actually install the Jenkins either in Windows or Linux or on any operating system. You can install it, right? It, right, you can install it, but usually, right, in industry, right, usually people go installing Linux, sorry, Jenkins on Linux, not on really on Windows. But yeah, I we do have many companies who are still working Jenkins on Windows, but many of the other companies, right, they have started moving everything from the Windows to the Linux. So preferably people are choosing to go Linux install, sorry, window Jenkins installation on Linux itself. Okay, so cloud based. So what he has made, right, he started his own company. So whoever are facing any problem in the open source Jenkins, they can contact the cloud based Jenkins actually. So they provide the enterprise support actually, enterprise support for Jenkins. Suppose I'm working on some company, so I'm facing some issues with the Jenkins, right? If I'm not getting any solutions, right, I can approach to the cloud base. So they will charge me some amount. So they will provide me the enterprise support for that, whatever we are working. Okay, but the most so the very important Jenkins has a lot of plugins actually. Most of the plugins, they all are developed by the cloud base itself. Cloud base. So you see, cloud base. So this is number enterprise software delivery. So you could see that what are the capabilities. See, you could see the capability, the continuous delivery, continuous integrations, right? Feature release orchestrations, everything. So these are the capabilities actually, right? And if you go with the Jenkins plugin, Jenkins plugins, and here if you type the cloud bees, most of the plugins, see, you could see that these are all developed by the cloud base. See, Kosuke Kawaguchi, he has developed this. Bitbucket, Branch, cloud base. So many of the, see, make cloud based, many of the plugins are actually developed by the cloud base. So when you are using a lot of cloud base in within your Jenkins, right, it is not, but it is developed by cloud base itself. Okay, clear, guys? So this is a small history, guys. I don't want to really get into much details actually, because you can go through the Google, or you can even, like, you can go through the Google and you can get it. Even if you want to see the source code, right, of your Jenkins, you can go to the github.com. Here you can search for Jenkins. See, you could see that this is what the open source Jenkins product. See, this is the Jenkins. The whole source code of the Jenkins over is here. It's an open source. You can go through it, and if you want to contribute, you can contribute. You could see that the official site of the Jenkins is jenkins.io. This is the official Jenkins actually. So you open this. See, this is your official website of the Jenkins, right? And here you have a documentation, you have a download. It means that whenever you want to install the Jenkins, you have to go with the downloads actually in this section. Click on this. See, it will take you to the download page. Is it clear, guys, till here? Because now we will be starting on how to install the Jenkins. So what is the Jenkins, guys? It is an open source automation service that fine tunes for the CI/CD activities. So what it says, what how we can say, Jenkins is an open source automation server that fine tune tunes for CI/CD activities. Like that you have to say. Okay, fine. Okay, now, so guys, okay, so now whenever you want to install, or whenever you want to work on Linux, sorry, whenever you want to work on Jenkins, basically you have to come to this page. You have to come under the download section. So this is where you need to Jenkins installation. So you need to get into this link. So you have to go to Jenkins.io/downloads. You could see here that there are two sets of Jenkins or one is a stable Jenkins and one is a regular weekly release Jenkins. Usually every industry, right, they go with always with the stable Jenkins itself, like long-term support release Jenkins, right? And you would see that the baselines are always chosen every 12 weeks. So once in every 12 weeks, right, a stable version of Jenkins is getting released actually. And this regularly means every week, right, this will be regularly been released. So usually people will not go for the regular releases, they'll always go with installing the stable LTS releases actually, right? And now if you come downwards, right, how to download the Jenkins and how to work on it, you could say that he says that actually you can directly download the war file from this site and play that war file and just run that war file so that the Jenkins will be up and running. Or else you can even run the Jenkins even in your Docker image also. Okay. Some people in some industry, what they do that they will have an application server like Apache Tomcat server. On top of that Apache Tomcat server, they run the Jenkins actually. So right, and you know that Jenkins can also be deployed into any kind of a private public cloud or the private cloud actually, right? You can, so you have a cloud related right, Jenkins are also available. You can go with that also, guys. Okay, but usually what happened, right? Usually what in the industry people do that they'll allocate one server and on top of the server they install the Jenkins actually. That's how they do. And if you come down here, he say that before downloading, please take a moment to review it. Go with the hardware and software requirement. What are the software and hardware requirement? See, if you come over here, he said that the minimum hardware requirement is 256 MB of RAM and 1 GB of drive memory. But usually this is not sufficient, guys, actually. So the recommended, what they say that go always the 4 GB of RAM and 50 GB of hard drive. So this is what the recommended one. And if you want to still further understand more on detail, right, you can go with this link also, hardware recommendation pages. So you can go through it and you can read this, the whole document actually. How many controllers you need, how you can manage the controllers, for that what kind of resources you need in the memory, as well as everything, that everything in detail they have provided here. You can go through it, right? So coming back here, so he had said that actually you have to have a minimum of these things. So guys, what we will be doing here, right, what we'll be doing here, that we would be creating the server or the machine in our AWS account. So under the AWS account, guys, so initially, so what we'll do, right, let's take a free tier account or free tier eligible machine. So in AWS, we use something as a T2.micro. This is a very, very basic thing, guys. Actually, this is just the configuration is just like 1 GB of RAM memory and 8 GB of hard drive HDD and 1 GB of memory and one virtual CPU. One virtual CPU. This is the configuration, guys. But I would not really recommend at this point of time that go with the T2.micro, because this, even though you can install Jenkins, it will work, but your system will become very slow actually. And you cannot run multiple parallel jobs if you are chosen T2.micro. So what I would suggest at this point of time, go with the, instead of going with the T2.micro, I would request everyone to go with the T2.medium actually. This is somewhat okay, which provides you 2 GB of RAM, 8 GB, 16 GB of hard drive, 16 GB of hard drive, and two virtual CPU. So I would recommend you to go with this, even though T2.medium is a paid one, it's a chargeable per hour chargeable, right? But still, I would recommend to go with this actually. So this is when you are creating a machine in a AWS account. Still, some of you want to try out, means you can try out in T2.micro. It will work. I'm not saying no, but it will be very dead slow. You cannot do practices, everything. All kind of a practice you cannot do to T2.micro, right? That is one thing. Second, suppose if you are using an Azure account, Azure cloud, if you are using Azure cloud. So the standard, what you use, that you can go with the standard underscore B1S. This is what you can allocate when you're working on Azure. Or else in your company or at your home, you have installed the VMware. On top of the VMware, you have created some guest OS. You have created, sorry, you have installed the guest OS or the guest VMs. Yes, you can install. You can install Jenkins on that also. So anything can go with that. Okay. So now coming back here, now if you go to the web page and here you could see that this is nothing but these are the recommendation, right? Hardware requirements actually, and you could see that once the Jenkins package has been downloaded, proceed with the installing the Jenkins. So you need to install the once you have a hardware requirement, you need to install the Jenkins. For the for the installation of the Jenkins, guys, you need to always have a always Java need to be installed. You could see that after you having a prerequisite, you could see that see the Java requirement. If you go to the Java requirement, it means that before you install Jenkins, guys, Java should be installed in your machine. So what they say that either go with the Java 11 or Java 8. That is what they're saying actually. But now it has been increasing. Java 11 or Java 17, they're asking actually. So we will go with the installation of the OpenJDK 11 version actually. Not even wait 8 also. I was thinking 8 is supported. See now the 8 they also they have removed because whatever the latest Jenkins which is getting installed, right? It expects this to be a minimal Java to be there in your machine actually. So what we'll be doing, guys, we'll be going with the installing our OpenJDK 11 or OpenJDK 17. I will go with the 11 actually. So what is it, guys? What you need here, just to show you. So what you need? You need one server actually, right? I can go with anything. I can let me go with some. Yeah. So I have one machine actually. So under this machine, guys, you need to install an operating system. So what I will do, guys, initially I will go with the Ubuntu. So I will install the Ubuntu. So, Ubuntu 20.04, I'll go with that Ubuntu actually. So I'll go with the Ubuntu. So I will have a Ubuntu operating system. It means that I will have a machine, then I will have a Ubuntu operating system on that, right? On top of this Ubuntu, right, I need to install the Java actually. So I will install the Java 11. So this is what the Java I will install it actually. So on once the Java is installed, guys, on top of that you will be installing the Jenkins. You will be installing. So this is a official Jenkins icon. We say, right? This is a Jenkins. What will be installing it? Like this will be installing it, right? And by default, what happened that once the Jenkins installed, actually by default the Jenkins will be listening to the port number 8080. It will be listening or it will be listening to the port 8080. The port number 8080. It will be listening to the port 8080. So this we call it as a Jenkins master. Call it as a Jenkins master. So guys, what we'll do? Let's now start installing the Jenkins actually, right? And let's install Jenkins. So for that we need a machine actually. So what I will do here, let me close all these things. I don't need all these things. Yeah, I might need this. Yeah, I might need this. Okay. So what I will do? So let me log into the my AWS account. So console.aws.amazon.com. So this is a site. Okay. So where I will be logging in. So I'll be logging with my user account. This is my user account. I'll be providing the password. Let me log into my AWS account. So guys, so I have logged in it. So basically I'm into the Oregon region. So I can even go to any of the other region also, Northern Virginia. I can create anywhere. So here, I have shifted from the Oregon to the Northern Virginia. That's fine. So here, if you go it, you can see that there's an EC2 server, EC2 services. Click on this EC2 services. So and here you are getting a EC2 dashboard. Click onto the running instance or the instances. You could see that there are no servers or there are no machine VMs here in my cloud. So what I will do, guys, I need to install it. So what I'm doing that here, I'll be using the Ubuntu 20.04, or you can even use the latest also. So you will be choosing the 20.04. You say that, Rajesh, can I install the Jenkins on CentOS? I can install the Jenkins on Red Hat, or can I install the Jenkins on Windows? You can install anywhere, guys. So don't go with installing Jenkins in Windows. That's what I would recommend. Don't go with that. You can go with any kind of a Linux flavor, right? You can start with Ubuntu. Later, you can, if you want, you can even try out with installing on CentOS 7.8. So what we'll be doing, guys, so I'll be showcasing the installation of the Jenkins, configuring everything on 20.04. So your task is to, you have to do the same stuff in your CentOS 7.8, right? That is your exercise, right? You need to do with that, right? You need to go with the installation of Jenkins with CentOS 7.8 or 8. CentOS 8 also can go through, right? So what I'll do, I'll go back to my AWS account. Here you could see that I'll go with the launch instances, right? Now you could see that this is a new way, it's a new view actually, which has come now, right? So let me give a name like Jenkins master, right? This is the name, this is the tag or name which I'm giving. Here, guys, I will go with the Ubuntu actually. If I go with the Ubuntu, here you could see that you're having a Ubuntu server 22.04, which is a free tier eligible. Fine. Let me see if I'm having 20.04. Yeah, I'm having, so I'll choose this one. So 20.04 is a free eligible, which I'm allocating, right? And then if you come down, actually, you could see that the instance type is t2.micro. But as I said earlier, if you are going with the t2, you can go with the t2.micro, but your system will become very slow. Why? Because Jenkins is like a beast, actually, guys. It consumes a lot of memory, it consumes a lot of CPU. That's the reason, having with a very minimal CPU and with a memory, right, it will make your system slow down. So I would rather say that go with the t2.micro medium, even though it is chargeable. Yeah, for your practice purpose, go to the t2.medium. So I will go with the t2.medium. So come down, t2. So it's there that 2 virtual CPU or 4 GB of RAM. This is what I need actually. And it is a on-demand Linux pricing. It's chargeable, right? I will select this t2.medium, right? Come over here. Do you have any key pair? I don't have any key pair. Let me create a new key pair. So I'll create a new key pair. So what I will give the name, the key pair as a Jenkins itself. Okay, let me give the name of Jenkins. So I need a PEM and it should be type of RSA. Okay, create the key pair. So after creating a key pair, you could see that it has downloaded that key pair. Where is downloaded, guys? In my, under my downloads directory, it has created this. It has saved this Jenkins.pem file. Okay, fine. Let it be. Now come down here. You have something that create security groups, or you can select the existing security groups. Let me check if I have any security groups. Yes, I have some security groups. So let me go with this. Let me go with, I already created earlier. I had created a security by name Ansible. Let me go with this itself now. So I'm not really interested to create any new security groups. Let me go with this itself. Come over here. He's telling about the configuration of this, right? Advanced detail, nothing to be much to be viewed over here. And then like here, he's explaining about all summary, what you're using it. And finally, you can save with a launch instance. So once you launch the instance, guys, go to the view instance, view all instance. So now you could see that the Jenkins VM has been allocated. It has not yet come to the running state. Let us wait, actually. Hold a second, guys. Okay, guys. Yeah. So now here, yeah, you could see that actually you have, yeah, it has come to the running state, right? It has come to the running state. Now, guys, I have to log into this machine. So this is basically my Ubuntu machine, right? If you click on this, you know very well that it shows you the IP address, like public IP and the private IP, right? So basically, this Jenkins server, it has been created in your AWS account, right? So basically, it is created in AWS account, and you are sitting outside. You are in a different network, and this server is running in a different network, right? So whenever you want to connect to this machine, which is in AWS cloud, you have to always use a public IP, right? That is what it is. So you have a public IP and you have a private IP. So you need to copy this public IP. Now, what you have to do that, To connect to this, actually, you need a some kind of a like a tool or some kind of a software to connect to it. So for that, you already have a putty software. Actually, you can have a putty software. You can have a Git software, right? You can have the super putty. You can have a mobile extern. There are multiple different clients are there. By using any one of the client, right, you can connect to the servers actually. So here in our class, in our sessions, right, initially I'll be showing how to connect through the putty actually, right? So here, guys, you have a Jenkins.pem actually. So but Jenkins.pem, while using the putty, you cannot use the Jenkins.pem because putty always need a Jenkins.ppk actually. It needs a ppk file, private key pair it needs actually. That's the reason to convert this Jenkins.pem to the Jenkins.ppk, you need a one more software known as a puttygen.exe. So let me launch this puttygen.exe. So this is the puttygen creator actually, putty key generator here, key generator. Go to the key here, or else, yeah, go to the key here, use parameter for saving key, click on this, always select the ppk version as 2. This is the initial setting you have to do here. Click on the OK. Okay, load this, okay, and give all files, select this Jenkins.pem, right, and then save as a private key, yes, and then like all files, give that name. Instead of ppk, instead of pem, sorry, you have to make it as a ppk and say save. Can you see, guys, here now it has created a file by names Jenkins.ppk. Can you see here? Jenkins. So with this Jenkins.ppk, I'm able to log in into this server, okay, using my putty. Is it clear? Okay. So now what I will do, I will launch this putty exe, right? Before launching putty exe, or just see that whether this machine is up. So yes, this machine has it is up and running. And always, whenever you see up and running, right, always, guys, make sure that the status should always be this. It should always be 2 by 2 check passed actually. Sometime what happen, if this check is not passed, so even though it is running state, you will not be able to log into the server. There could be some issue. So always make sure that the status check is passed actually. So here you could see the status check is passed. Okay, now here you just click on this. You need a public IP, right? Click on this, copy this public IP. Okay, come back to the downloads directory where you have the putty.exe. Launch this actually. Now here you paste this IP. This is the public IP, right? And here you can go to the bills. You can just say none bill is disabled. Fine. You can go to the appearance, change the appearance, change to 14. Okay. Go to the color settings, change the default color settings. And here, guys, go to the SSH. Here you have something like auth key. Auth is there. Here you have credentials. Click on this. You could see that private key for authentications. Yes. Browse it. Give this Jenkins.ppk. Open it and then say open this. Now you could see that it has opened it. Now, guys, whenever you are logging to any of the Ubuntu server, by default, the username which you have to log in is always Ubuntu. Enter. See, you have logged in into the Ubuntu machine. So till here, guys, are you clear? Do you have any doubts? So I just wanted to know, guys, are you clear
Yes,
with
sir.
this?
Yes, sir.
Good. So you're perfect, right? Till here.
Yeah.
Good. So we are logged into this mission, guys. So you could see that this is my main. This is the name actually. This is not about the host name. If you execute the host name command, you could see that this is a host name. We can even change the host name also, right? So host name ctl set hyphen host name. Okay, and the host name I'm giving as a Jenkins master like this. Right? Sorry, you have to give a sudo actually. You have to give sudo host name ctl set hyphen host name Jenkins master, and you could execute bash. Now you could see that the host name has been changed to this name. See, right? The host name you have changed. Fine. You can even update. You can do a sudo apt update. Always you have to update the apt package repository. That's what you have to always say, sudo apt update. See, it is updating all the packages. Fine, guys. Now So what you have to do, that the prerequisite is that, if you have seen, the prerequisite is that actually you should always install the Java first. You should always install the Java, right? So here in our case, right, I will be installing the Java 11, right? Java OpenJDK 11. So before you install Jenkins, guys, you need to install always Java, right? So how to install the Java, right? How to install the Java? Nothing to worry. You can go to the Google and just say install OpenJDK 11 on Ubuntu 20.04. See, you'll get a lot of articles, guys. So you could see these are the most favorable. I will always say that go with the DigitalOcean, or else go with your uh, like Linux size, right? This is a good sites, guys, actually. So I will go with the open DigitalOcean site actually. Here they say is it like how to go ahead and install the Java 11 actually. So you could see that. See, first he said that okay, go with the sudo apt update, fine, and then like what he will say that sudo apt install default jerry. I don't want this way. Okay, what are the other way, right? I can go with the open jdk 11, right? Software sudo apt install. So I don't want to really follow all these steps actually. So what I will do, guys, let me do one thing. Let me go to the server. So what I will do here, see, sudo apt cache is a command. Search for open JDK. Open JDK. See, if you do a sudo apt cache of search of open JDK, it will show you the various version of the open JDK which is available. Can you see here? Open JDK 11-11 JDK. It's an open JDK development kit. This is what I needed, guys, actually. So what you have to do, guys, you have to install it actually. So what you have to do, that you have to say sudo apt install. What is it you have to do? You have to select this open jdk 11-jdk. Where is it, guys? I can go with the 17 also, but that's fine. I will go with the open jdk 11 jdk. This is what I needed, and I'll just say -y. Can you see that the Java is getting installed in your machine? Hold a second, guys. Hold a second. Okay, so your Java is getting installed. Fine. So once the Java is installed, how to verify? You can just say Java -version. This is a command. Okay, fine. After Java installation, so what are the steps, guys? You followed it. Let me execute the history command. Okay, to install the OpenJDK Java, I use this command. These three commands I used actually. So let me copy these three commands. Let me paste it. Installing Java 11. So the commands are this one. So I use these commands to install the Java. Fine. So after Java is installed, what you need to do? You need to now install the Jenkins. So always, whenever you want to install the Jenkins, guys, you should always go to the official site of the Jenkins. You could see that Jenkins.io. You could go with the Linux section. Here, if you come down, they have explained about how to install the Java in various different platforms in Linux. You can install the Java in Debian or Ubuntu. That's a long-term support release. You come down, you can install the Java. You can installation of the Java. You can install the Java in Fedora. What are the steps to follow for the Fedora? These are the steps you're going to follow. You can go and install the Java onto the Red Hat or CentOS. You could see that for various different Linux flavors, right? You have the all the steps to install Java. So here what we're doing, right, we are installing our Jenkins in the Ubuntu, right? So what I'll do, I'll go with these steps, guys. So what I have to do, that you have to blindly come and blindly follow these steps. Copy this step, go over to the server, and execute this. So what I would say that better you, yeah, you can run this, okay, and then like you could see that echo, copy this command, execute this. Then you have to say sudo apt get update. See, again you need to update the package, okay, and finally you have to say sudo apt get install Jenkins, and then say -y. Okay, Jenkins is getting installed. So Jenkins, it will take some time. Yeah. Anyhow, Java is installed. Yes, the installation is completed. Now what happened? As soon as the Jenkins installation completed, let us see what are the commands we used. So we have used these commands. So don't go with these commands like that, guys. Actually, always you need to follow up the official document because these commands or steps will be keep changing. You cannot note it down these commands and say that always these commands will execute always. No, it will not execute always. Why? Because that this is we are following from the official document and these commands or steps will be keep changing. So you need to go through your official document itself. These are the 4 steps we need to follow for installation of the Jenkins on Ubuntu. On Ubuntu. Okay, guys. I think somebody's pinging this. What happened? Yeah, we did with curl and echo command. What was that? Amit, curl and echo are the commands, guys. Curl and echo are the commands. So you need to learn the commands. So curl is basically used to download any package, right? Either you can use a wget command or curl command to download the package, or there is an echo command is there. Echo is basically it is for printing a string. So guys, you should be little strong in Linux now actually, right? So you can go to my channel and you can go through the Linux playlist. You can learn through that actually. So the basics expect from this course is that actually you should know Linux, okay? And please always unmute and ask any question because I might not see the message. Please ask me the question by unmuting yourself, okay? Now once you're doing this actually, guys, so this is the command actually. And finally what happened, right? You need to, once the Jenkins is installed actually, basically you need to check whether the Jenkins server is up or not. So how you run it? You do a systemctl status command and then say jenkins.service. Can you see that the Jenkins is up and running? So if this Jenkins service is up and running, it means that Jenkins is running. If the service is down or if the service is dead, it means that Jenkins is not running. That's what you have to confirm. Okay, guys. So what is what is the command you need to check? Systemctl status Jenkins. This is the command which you need to always check whether my Jenkins is running or not. So after executing this command, you could see that it is always up and running. Okay, good. So till here, are you okay, guys? So now Jenkins is up and running in the machine. Correct, good. Now what happened, right? You know very well that the Jenkins always it runs on the port number 8080. So let me do one thing, guys. Let me go to my instance, AWS instance here, and you could see that I have a public IP address. Copy this public IP address. Copy this public IP address. Here, just launch one more instance. Just a HTTP colon. Give the public IP. Give colon 8080. It means that under this IP address, under this port, your Jenkins server is up and running. So if you click on this, you could see that, see, you will get this, see, this page is getting loaded, and you could see that this is what the default page you'll get when you are launching for the first time. And here it says that what happened, right? /var-lib unlock the Jenkins. It means that basically your initial password or the administrative password is there in this path, guys, actually. So what you can do, you can copy this, come on to the server, just do a sudo cat of this file and say enter. Can you see you are getting an initial password? Copy this password. Copy this password and paste it over here and then say continue. So here, after that, you will say that you have to customize Jenkins by installing some plugins. Here you say that you can select the selected Jenkins, install the select Jenkins plugins, or else you can go with the select plugins to install. Right now, I'm not interested to go with this. I'll go with the suggested only. Just click on this. So you could see that your Jenkins version is 2.375.1. This is the Jenkins version, guys, which is installed. So select on this, unable to connect to the servers, retry. Yeah, now it has started install. See, these are all the different plugins. Guys, it is getting installed. You could see that it is installing the Git plugin, it is installing the LDAP, it is installing the GitHub branch plugin and SSH email extension, Gradle. There are many, some default plugins are there which are getting installed actually. Okay, so it has gotten installed. So here it asks me some user and password. Let me do one thing. Let me give the name. Uh, my username is Rajesh-Devops. Password, something. I'll give the password. Password. Come down. It is asking for the full name. I'll just say Rajesh. My email it is mailrajeshsre@gmail.com, and you say that save and continue. So here you have given the username, admin username. You're given. Answer save and continue. So here it is asking you that what could be the Jenkins URL. So here it is using some public IP. Whatever you have a public IP, right? The same. You can even give the private IP also. You can copy this and you can even give the private IP also here. Just replace with the private IP. But that this really doesn't matter for me now, as of now. So I'll just go with this itself. Okay. Later, if you want to change this URL, you can change, guys. That is not an issue. So as of now, I'm not that much interested. I can just go with the save and finish. And just say start using Jenkins. So guys, you have landed with this page. Actually, this is nothing but the front page, or not, this is the home page of your Jenkins. This is the home page, guys, actually. And you could see here at the left side, new item, people, build history, manage Jenkins, my view. There are many things are there. Build executor status, what is build queue. And if you see that, so Rajesh has logged in, right? Rajesh Singh, he has logged in, guys, right? This fellow has logged in. So that's a user account, right? He has logged in actually, and this is your entire dashboard or nothing, but it is a home page actually. So till here, guys, we need to practice it. It means that you need to install the Jenkins, configure, and finally you have to land up in this page. So if you come up in this page, it means that the Jenkins is perfectly working fine. So guys, what you have to do that for you, the exercise for you is that you need to install the Jenkins in CentOS 7.8, or you can even install in CentOS 8 also. Okay, this is what the activity you need to do. Okay, fine. So that's all, guys. Right. So we have installed Linux. Sorry, we have installed the Jenkins, and it is perfectly working. So from here onwards, our journey will start. Right. We need to learn about a lot of stuff about the configuration files. Right. How exactly Jenkins works. What is the home directory for the Jenkins? Right. I need to create a freestyle projects. I need to create a pipeline projects, or I need to create a multi-branch projects. Right. There are many stuffs are there which you'll be learning. From here onwards, our journey of learning Jenkins will start. So I would expect everyone to install the Jenkins and just be ready with this actually. Okay, is it fine, guys? Okay, so that's all for the day today, guys. I think today we have covered up to installation and configuration. Okay, so what we'll do in the next class. So guys, one more important things. So we would be that like our course or whatever I'm taking, right, we'll be only covering on Saturdays and Sundays. You know very well. And every Saturday, Sunday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. we'll go ahead with little more. I will be covering up to 1.5 hour or 1 hour or even to 2 hours also. So every Saturday, Sunday, this time is fixed, guys. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Everyone have to join at 5 p.m. exactly, right? So that we can start the course, and it's the same link actually. Okay, so if there is any changes, so if I'm not able to take or if I'm postponing something, right, definitely I will be intimating in our group actually, so that, but this is what we are fixing it. And I need a minimum of around 1.5 month of time, nearly around 6 to 7 weekends of time I need to cover. I need a 6 to 7 weekend or 7 to 8 weekends. I need to finish the Jenkins course. Okay, right? So in next session, what we'll be doing, right? We'll be continuing from here itself actually. So I'll be continuing from the here itself. So I will have the Jenkins dashboard, right? I'll be continuing from here itself, guys. Okay, so we'll be working on like how to create a project, what is a project is all about, what is the internal structure of the Jenkins, what is the home directory, what is config.xml file, what is workspace, what are jobs. There are many terms are there which we need to learn actually, right? So fine, guys. So if you have any doubts, do let me know. You can just unmute and you can ask, or else we can wind up the session. Okay, sure. Chalo, guys. Then if you don't have any questions, we'll just Amit will let you know later. Amit, I'm not sure from whom you have joined actually, so we will let you know later. You can connect personal with me. I will let you know. Okay. Okay. Chalo, guys. Chalo. Thank you all. Bye. Have a nice evening. Bye.